Welcome to Canine Revolution Radio. Presented by Canine Revolution Dog Training, enhancing the dog and owner relationship through education, balance, and pack instinct.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Canine Revolution Radio. I'm Chad, your host. I've got Heather Black with us today. We're going to be talking about fitness and nutrition. Before we go into our discussion, though, we just want to really quick thank Linden Construction and Brandon Linden and Sarah Linden for letting us use one of their conference rooms for this podcast. You know, big deal to be able to sit down with Heather Black for a little bit. So thank you, Brandon and Sarah and Linden Construction, for letting us use one of your spaces. But without further ado, Heather Black, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of where you grew up and how you got into what you're doing now.
Okay. Well, I'm Heather Black. Most people call me Heather Black Fit because it just kind of flows. That's my Instagram. So I am a mother of 4 boys. They all play hockey. And I've been into I didn't really get into the fitness game until after I had my last one. So really? Yeah. I was never a big athlete, or I didn't really exercise. I didn't really do any of that stuff until after I had my last one. Yeah. But then after that, I just fell in love with it, and I've always wanted to, be in some kind of field where I could help people. And there's nothing better than being able to help somebody, change the way they feel about themselves. It's huge. So,
did you grow up in Charleston area, or where'd you grow up at?
So I was born in Savannah, which is pretty much Charleston,
right,
you know what I mean? Same exact thing, just a few years behind them. But I've been in the low country my whole life. I was in Savannah. I moved from Savannah to Hilton Head when I was 10, and then we moved up here when I was like 23 or 24, something like that.
Good to go.
So I love it. What about y'all? Are y'all from here?
Yeah. We both grew up in Goose Creek.
Ah.
Goose brothers. Yeah.
I'm moving out to the country pretty soon, too. I live here in Mount Pleasant, but I'm moving to
Where are you moving
Monk's Corner.
Monk's Corner?
Yeah. I love it out there. It's
a little bit closer to us.
Yeah, a little bit. I used to live in Goose Creek a while back, though.
Yeah. I live in right outside of Harleyville right now, so about 30 minutes outside of Somerville.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Straight up woods.
It's good,
This guy's he's moving to somewhere off of Old Charlie Road. So.
Yeah. See, I like it out there.
Nice area.
I like it out there. Yeah.
Monk's Corner is really nice.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
With 4 boys, you need more space, and you can get a lot more space in Monk's Corner than you can in Mount Pleasant right
Closer
now.
to the lake, I'm sure.
We have like a fishing pond right across the street.
Nice.
Playground, 2 pools.
Yep.
Can't beat it.
What gym are you going to be working out at? Or home
I don't
gym?
know.
Yeah.
There's a few up there, so I go to Crunch every now and then when I don't work out in my garage.
Okay.
But I think the Crunch up there is like 30 minutes away.
Is it really?
I think so. The one on, is it Old Trolley? The one, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
There's an O2 Fitness, I think, in Monk's Corner itself.
Yeah. I think there's an O2, and then there's like a Bold Fitness, which is like 15 minutes away in Nexton. So, I don't know. Might check those out. Bold, also in that Nexton spot, they have like a ninja academy that my boys are like. It's got a ninja course, but the bottom is lava.
Yep.
The whole floor is lava thing. So
your boys do that already?
Oh my God, they love it.
Yeah.
So they are never not climbing on something. They're never not wrestling. So
they are boys. So.
Oh my God, it's ridiculous.
My 2 little girls, they go to the ninja thing.
Do they really?
They're very little, 4 and 2.
Yeah.
But they're learning how to hold on to the rings. And finagle the obstacles. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, just trying to get them active.
That's great. That's really good. I love it when little girls are active like that. It's I don't know. I was never a girly girl, so I like it when girls get dirty and messy and run around and play, do all the stuff the boys do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So very cool.
So after your 4th son, what made you make the jump into the fitness game?
So I hate talking. I don't hate talking about it, but I feel bad talking about it now because it was so long ago. But when I was pregnant with my 4th, I was actually alone in South Carolina with my other 3, and my husband was on deployment, or he was stationed in Norfolk, Virginia. And I found out like almost on Christmas Eve that he had been having an affair the entire time, and that was a little bit, that shook things up a little bit. And so after I had my last one, at first it started out as like, I'm gonna show you kind of thing. But then it just kind of turned into, hey, I really like this stuff. I like working out. I like feeling good. I like, I like the way it's making me feel. Exercise, they always say it's like the best antidepressant. It really is. Yeah. So, it went from, being one thing to, it ended up being the best thing that ever happened, because Absolutely. It turned into, this is what I do now, Absolutely. And I love it. So
Absolutely. Yeah. Good to go. So your boys, they're all playing hockey?
Yeah.
Right? I've seen on some of your stories recently
my God.
Where you're at the practices and all that.
Yeah, so they're back at I feel like, so my oldest just, his team made it to nationals, and we were just in Grand Rapids, Michigan in April.
Oh, really?
And that was the end of our season.
Yeah.
And now we're already back doing tryouts, getting ready for the next season. So, I'll take hockey any day over any other sport. It's so much fun, especially now that they're older. They're doing the checking and they're doing the, it's a little bit rougher. It's a lot of fun.
A lot of physicality.
There is. It's a
lot
of fun.
Character development,
Yes. Yeah. And my oldest, he's a goalie. So my heart, I want to start fights with people whenever they score, that kind of thing. So, it's a lot of fun though.
Yeah.
So
good to go. Yeah. Awesome. Well, before we jump into some of the fitness and nutrition stuff, one question for you. What is your morning routine look like on an average day?
Well, so, now that, school's almost out, but I can't sleep past 6:30, and with 4 boys and 3 different schools, my morning routine is that until I get them all at school. And then I have to, I eat breakfast. It's usually pretty chaotic until about after my first or second client, which is around 9 or 9:30. And then I can actually eat a good breakfast. And then, I either train more clients or I go to the gym. The thing with the gym, when you have a full-time job, which I know you know this too, is you just have to fit it in whenever you can. And it just has to be in your schedule. Right. If I don't put it in my schedule, something else is going to get in there. So you have to plan for it. And so, just juggling all the different, and everybody has this, whether you have 1 kid or you have 4, or you don't have kids, but you get a full-time job. It's just all that space all that time you think you have, it ends up getting eaten up by other things. And you have to just make sure that one of those things is exercising or meal prep or other things that are going to make you feel better, because otherwise, you're either going to sit on your ass and do nothing, scrolling through Instagram, or, it's going to get sucked up by other things that aren't good for you. Yeah, so,
absolutely. And if you don't have kids, whenever you do have kids, that time becomes super
Those
crunched,
days are over. Yeah. There's no more of that free time nonsense you hear about.
Yeah.
Do you have kids? No.
Not yet. Maybe one day.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
He's helping me out with my kids, He's like
the
uncle.
It is, right? So dogs are a lot of work too. Yeah.
I've seen his kids in action. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, you can't put them in crates. Like if you need to go somewhere, you can't just stuff them in a crate and go somewhere,
Yep. Good to go.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into some fitness topics here.
Okay.
So first off, let's talk about different training styles. We got various training styles. We got CrossFit, we got functional fitness, we got bodybuilding.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the various training styles? What do you think about each one?
Well, so my thought about fitness in general is the best thing that's going to work for you is the thing that you want to actually do. So, the best thing that's going to work for somebody who likes tennis, I'm not going to tell them to do CrossFit because they're going to hate it. They're going to want to play tennis. And if that's what makes you feel fit and, you want to do it all the time, but if it's something that is, if it's a drag and you're dreading it all the time, try something else. So I found that CrossFit was the most effective and most enjoyable thing for me. That's where I got the best results. And I love that, misery, that whole state of despair when you're in the middle of a workout and you're like, why do I do this to myself? I hate every second of this. And then, you're done and you're like, God, that felt awesome.
Good to go.
So I like that. But there are other people, I don't know, what kind do you do? What do you do?
I've been doing mostly bodybuilding until I tore my bicep. Now I'm kind of rethinking everything.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm starting to think more about functional.
Yeah.
Trying to build workout plans whenever I'm fully repaired and able to start working out my upper body or the left side again. You know what I'm saying?
Leg day every day.
leg day 3 times a week, good to go. You know, playing it safe, making them bigger. So
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I've done CrossFit in the past. I really enjoy, you know, CrossFit. You're usually like with a group of people, all doing this crazy workout. Everybody's just sweating and having a good time.
The intensity,
you know what I'm saying? But I also like just strength type stuff, and like obviously, or not obviously, but whenever I was doing CrossFit, that's not kind of like what happened with me. I don't know if that happened. It's probably depending on the workouts that you're doing.
What were you seeing more when you did CrossFit?
I was just becoming like I was getting more stamina and more endurance.
Yeah, the
stuff.
Cardio thing. Yeah. I did a competition a couple of weeks ago, and I haven't really done any cardio since I got COVID last August.
Oh, shoot.
And it was a CrossFit competition. So I've just been lifting, and, you know, every now and then I'll do like a Metcon that gets my heart rate jacked up.
Yeah.
And so they asked me to join this team for this competition. Well, they gave me like a month's notice, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll be fine, whatever." Yeah. So I still didn't really do any cardio, and then I did the first workout, and I thought I was gonna die. Like, so yes, CrossFit is 80% cardio. Even when you're lifting, it is lifting until your heart wants to explode.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun, but if you're not used to it, like, I guess I hadn't been working out as hard in my garage as I thought I was. And it doesn't help that so we had a team of 4. It was 2 guys and 2 girls.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was partnered up with for all the different workouts, he's going to the CrossFit Games.
Oh, really? So he's legit.
He's the real deal. And so he was my partner, and I felt so bad for him because I was going as hard as I could. And I'm sure he was just like, whatever, this is fine. You know, you're fine. He was giving me a pep talk the entire time. So I'm pretty sure he was not pushing it the way that I was. So, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yes, cardio is the majority of CrossFit.
Yeah.
But, you know, I found that intensity is where I got my muscle also, you know. And I think it's good to kind of mix it up too. You'll find a lot that if you are, let's say you only run, like, it's going to start jacking you up, you know, your knees and your hips and all that other stuff. So it's good to mix it up every now and then. You know, you can have your primary thing that you love, but as far as like joint and tendon longevity and all that other stuff, you know, you do need to mix it up, because if you're doing the same thing over and over again,
just wear and
you're
tear.
going to tear your damn bicep. It's just going to happen.
Sometimes you learn the hard way, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, with some of your clients, you know, based on what their goal is, do you rotate them through like, you know, strength style workouts, and then you do a phase of like more CrossFit, just like what you kind of described, just to give their bodies cycles to help them meet their goal or whatever that is?
So I mean, so the majority of the time, my clients, they want to come to me to lose body fat. And then once they start losing the body fat, they're like, okay, now I want to build some muscle. So we kind of go in cycles. So I do pretty much every single time with my clients, I do a CrossFit style workout. And I have a workout of the day, and I modify it accordingly for all my different clients. But then there are some clients who want to do that, but then they also want to build muscle. So most of my sessions are 30 minutes, and that's that 30-minute CrossFit workout. But then also I have, you know, some clients who want to do an hour where they want to do 30 minutes of barbell work, or they want to, you know, focus on getting strong for 30 minutes, but then they also want that Metcon. So it just depends on what everybody wants to do, you know, what their individual goals are. But
if you split it up, like where you're doing a little bit of strength work, but also, you know, the high intensity work.
Yeah.
Do you usually do strength before the high intensity, or do you
so if we're doing like an hour session, we'll do the first 30 minutes will be strength training. It'll be, you know, heavy squats or something like that. And then we'll do like a leg day Metcon type thing, you know? Yeah.
Can they walk out, or you got to drag them out to their car?
Yeah, I have like a little stroller. I put them in and I just take them out. No, we did. So one of my clients this morning, we did it like a heavy leg day workout, and they were miserable. It was great. It was great. It is. It's so good to see when they are doing something, and I know they're miserable, but they're so much better than they were before. You know, this workout I would not have given them, you know, a month or 2 ago.
Right.
Because they would have legit died.
Right.
But they do it now, and they're miserable, but they're getting through it, and they're getting stronger, and that's an awesome thing to see.
And you probably see their confidence levels rising.
Yeah,
too, you know,
that's the best. And that's the thing that I love about progress pictures too, is I make my clients take progress pictures, because on day one, a lot of them, you know, yes, their body, they want to work on their body, but it's the look on their face that's the one that gets you, because they just look they look sad. You know what I mean? They're not happy with themselves. But then you take a picture 6 weeks later and, you know, their body might not be changing as much as they want it to, but you can see like the light coming back on in their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
And then later, you know, they're taking their progress pictures and they're flexing and they're super proud of themselves. And that is the best thing to see, is when people, you know, go from feeling really low and really bad about themselves, and then, you know, in a year they've lost 100 pounds and they feel amazing, and they're just it affects every part of their life too. It's not just them feeling better in the gym. It's, you know, they're confident at work. They've got a girlfriend now, you know, all that other stuff. So that is the best thing to see, for sure.
One thing you just said I think is very important, you know, because a lot of people, especially in today's society, they want everything right now. They expect they're going to lose X amount of weight, you know, within a week. You know, change is slow, right? And you just got to be consistent, or
and
what do you recommend?
It's about being consistent and patient. A lot of people, they'll start with me, and then they'll kind of take a little pause because they go sign up for that 30-day shake challenge, and they might lose 20 pounds, but then they call me later because they've gained 30 pounds. You know what I mean? So the thing with those challenges is, yeah, you might lose weight, but you're not changing your habits. You know what I mean? So you could lose the weight. You might, I can't see how you would feel good drinking only shakes for a month.
Right.
But then, you know, you can fit into your dress or whatever. But then as soon as you stop those shakes, what are you going to do? You haven't formed any habits about eating healthy or anything like that. So you're going to go back to eating crap and not working out and not all this other stuff. And then you end up gaining back all the weight that you lost, and usually a little bit more, because you're pissed off that you started gaining the weight back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Gotcha.
it's consistency, it's patience, it's, you know, trusting the process of, this is going to take a while. I didn't gain, you know, 50 pounds overnight. I gained it over 17 years. So, you know, give me a year to get me where I want to be, you know. But most people, and I mean, I'm the same way. Like when I want something.
Oh yeah. We're all, you know, I think it's basic human nature. You want something, you just
It
go for
is,
you know?
and it's so funny. Like, I was ordering something on Amazon, and I was scrolling through, and it was right before I got here, and I was only selecting the things that I could buy for same day delivery. It was like, if you order in 7 minutes, it'll get here the same day, and I'm like, that's only going to get here tomorrow. I want it today. Like, that's how impatient I am with everything. So, you know, I understand the whole impatience thing. You know, I want everything right now too.
And
right
sometimes
now.
that works, like with Amazon, but when it comes to changing your body,
you
it
can't
doesn't
order a
work,
body
you know?
same day delivery. No, that's not how it works. Yeah.
And like entrusting the process too, like what you just mentioned, I think it's, you know, a lot of people, maybe they go out there looking for a coach. Maybe this some kind of coach gets them to sign on with them, but that coach, you know, this is just kind of like my personal opinion, but that coach may not represent what that person wants. Maybe the coach is overweight or not practicing what they preach, you know?
Yeah.
So how can you trust a process where it's with a coach that isn't even demonstrating what the end result is? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You got any opinions on that? You allowed to talk about that?
So when I started out at a big box gym, that's where I got my first personal training job. And there were several trainers there who were really overweight.
Yeah.
And these people had been training with them for years, and they hadn't seen any changes in their body. You know what I mean? And so, you know, no offense, but, you know, just like they always say, never trust a skinny chef. Like, never trust a fat personal trainer, y'all.
Right.
There's a difference between fat and really big and strong. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing that one out there.
Yeah.
There are people who look healthy, who are just really big, you know, power lifters and all that other stuff. But then there's people who just straight up fat. Come on, y'all. You know, you should not
if
trust
your goal
it.
is to power lift, maybe you go with that coach that's
Exactly.
a big powerlifting. But
Exactly.
if your
But-
goal is to be trim and fit, you go with a coach that,
Yeah.
you know, looks like what you want to look like.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
throwing
saying?
out some big words, you
Yeah.
know, that's not going to be, you know, the telltale sign. The telltale sign is if they have the habits that you want to create in your life so that you can get the same results. Or, you know, everybody's different. So
Yeah.
you can say, okay, well, I'm going to look just like that person. You know, you can do the same habits all day long, but, you know, your results might be different than theirs just because straight up genetics, you know
Right.
what I mean? So that's a big factor too, is people being okay with their genetics. You know what I mean? Like, there are some people who, you know, they might not get the stomach they want, but they have awesome legs, or, you know, their biceps just pop until they tear. You know what I mean?
Until they tear.
Yeah. So So, you have to be okay with that process too, is, there are limitations and there are things that you can't blame everything on genetics. I see a lot of people blaming things on genetics to be kind of like an out where they don't have to try. But there are some things that you have to be more patient with. You can always make them better.
Yeah.
But
I think that's super important too, because especially like young dudes in the gym, they all want to be big, strong, have the big arms, big shoulders.
Yes.
I was the same way, and then I got to a point where I'm like, okay, there is a genetic factor, but I do need to try and do my best to achieve whatever that goal is.
Yeah, you just want to be the best version of you. And, so I have 2 teenage boys. So I see, it's bench press every day. You know what I mean? Every single day. Yeah. It's today's 1 rep max bench press day. All I want is, to have the heaviest bench press. Yeah. Leg day, never.
They want you to coach them, or they're like, I got it, Mom,
Oh my God. Well, so at first they do, but then they find out, they actually have to listen to me, which is not a thing that my children do usually, even when I'm, trying to tell them something that doesn't have anything to do with parenting. So they usually end up, I think my oldest, he's in an actual weightlifting class at school, which is awesome. We never had that. Yeah. So he's learning a lot from the coach there at his school, which is good because, I'm finding that they tend to listen more to those kind of authority figures, coaches, and,
someone other than your parents.
Guidance. Anybody but your mom and dad. Anybody but them. So.
Yeah, that's standard across all kids for the most part,
I'm pretty sure. I remember I was pretty much the same way. Yeah. So, yeah.
All right. So what would you say, we already talked about the various styles of training, but what do you think is the most important component in a workout plan? Is it whatever that person's goal is? Is it to achieve, certain fitness level, cardiovascular health, muscle tear down so you can rebuild it? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think for everybody it's different, So you might have someone who comes to you and says, I want to run an Ironman. Their objectives are going to be way different than someone who says, I want to gain 20 pounds of muscle. Yeah. So you have to approach each client differently, but also every trainer is different too. Most people are not going to come to me if they want to run an Ironman. You know what I mean? So the clients that usually come to me, it's pretty straightforward. We just need to help you clean up your diet. You need to exercise consistently, even when you're not with me. And, you need to work on, reducing your stress, getting enough sleep, all that other stuff. You add all that together, drinking a lot of water. You put all those together and you're going to get good results. That's just the way it is. It's science. You don't need to go in ketosis, because you can't be in ketosis forever. I don't understand the keto diet. It confuses me because you can't do that forever. So if you're not developed, just like with the shake thing, if you're not developing different habits, you can't eat bacon and butter for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? So it's just about helping them create new habits. And really, a lot of people, they use their trainer almost as like a therapist too. And helping, I like being able to, help them bounce ideas back and forth and help them feel better about where they are and all that other stuff. So, that's also a huge part of the fitness journey or any journey of self-improvement is, the stuff that's going on in your head. That is the biggest part, actually. If you are trying to get stronger, but all you say all day in your head is, I'm weak. I'm just I can't lift anything. I'm so weak. You're never going to get there, Right. So you have to start believing in your head, I am a fit person. I do what fit people do. Yeah. Or I am strong. I can pick that up. I can do anything that anybody else does. If you just talk to yourself that way, then your body just kind of follows that. The mindset is a huge part of it. Huge.
Yeah. What about situation, you got someone that goes to a gym. Obviously there's other people working out. They're comparing themselves to everybody else. Oh, that guy over there, he's benching, whatever amount of, I should be, let me try that. Yeah. Hurt myself doing it. You know what I'm saying?
I always say to my clients who are very self-conscious when they're in the gym, if you see anybody looking at you, it's only because they're looking to see if you're checking them out. Everybody in the gym, their objective is to see if other people are watching me and seeing how good I look over here. So if you see somebody in there, well, first of all, if they're fit, that's probably going to be the first thing they do. And if they're looking at you, they're probably not judging you, especially if you're new and you don't really know what you're doing. Most people in there are nice. Most people are helpful. So don't be insecure. Go in there with a trainer, who can help you be more confident. Go in there with a friend who's been working out. Or if you just want to wait until you're more confident, work out at home for a little bit. Get some dumbbells and work out at home until you know what you're doing, and then hop in there.
Yeah, good to go.
Yeah.
Get after it. Let's see. What would you say for anybody that wants to begin working out? Let's say they're maybe trying to lose some body fat. We've already talked a little bit about they got to change their habits.
Yeah.
We'll talk about nutrition here in a second, but as far as workout goes, what do you recommend for a beginner just getting it? They've never worked out before.
Yeah.
Maybe they're 30 years old. They're trying to lose some body fat.
Yeah.
Kind of where should they start at?
Well, it depends on their body fat, first of all. Like if you are, 50% body fat, I'm not going to tell you, start that Couch to 5K program or something like that. It's just a matter of just being a little bit, my advice to people is just do a little bit better than you did yesterday. You know what I mean? How can I make this a little bit better? Every time you look at your meal, how can I make this a little bit better? It's got white rice. Maybe I can change the white rice for brown rice. It doesn't have to be a huge difference. What can I do to make this a little bit better? I want to sit on the couch for 2 hours. Let me go do a little, 10-minute walk. So the people who are very deconditioned, unfit, it's just a matter of getting the ball rolling, and that's the biggest part for anybody. The biggest part for anybody is actually making it to the gym. Once you're there, you're good.
Yeah.
And the biggest part of people who have not worked out is just getting the ball rolling and, helping maintain that. A lot of times, though, you have to figure out the why. There's got to be like, why am I doing this? If you don't have a big enough why of why you want to get in shape, then it's not gonna stick usually. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to either have a why or you've got to have something that just kind of it kicks you in the ass to make you realize, holy, you know what? Yeah. I need to get my life in order.
Yeah.
So finding your why is a big part too.
Yeah.
Figuring out why you want to do it in the first place.
Good to go. So maybe someone's goal is they want to lose some fat at first, but then it's got to be more than that.
It does.
That fat will come off. Mm-hmm. But if you slacken those habits, like you said, it comes right back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And also just, what if the fat doesn't come off as fast as you want? The minute you see a cheesecake, you're going to be like, what's the point? That cheesecake looks really good and I'm not losing any fat, being miserable anyway.
Yeah.
Let me dive in. You know what I mean? So you have to have something in you. You have to trust the process. You have to know why you're doing it. And you have to realize that, it's not going to come overnight. And you're going to have to change the way you look at things, Yeah. So it's not just, resisting that cheesecake. And the thing is I always say, if you're good 80% of the time, that means you can have, if you have 5 meals, like 3 meals and 2 snacks, that means one of them can kind of be a little bit of a cheat. Yeah. I don't like the word cheat, but you don't have to be perfect to make good results. It helps if you are very consistent, but if you fall off the wagon, if you end up having, something that's not on your diet, don't let it derail you completely. Don't let it, get you into that spot of, well, shit, it's over now, Might as well just keep on going. I've had one donut, might as well have the rest,
Yeah, that's what this guy did last week.
And look at you now.
We were about to do a team workout.
Yeah.
Like we had all our trainers and staff and everybody were doing a team workout. And I said, everybody, probably want to get some carbs in before the workout so you got some fuel. And he was like, all right, I'll have a donut,
That's some carbs, though.
Yeah.
So I will admit that I do that every now and then. When I need, fast carbs, I'll eat, gummy bears or something like that just to get into my system as fast as possible. Yeah. So
good to go.
Yeah, whatever.
Within moderation and timing.
Right? Just don't eat all 12,
All right, let's talk real quick about, how do you gauge a successful workout? Is it based on how much somebody's sweating? Because like if we're gauging it on sweat, like I'm working out right here, I'm soaking sweat.
I know.
I'm
getting a good workout right now. I'm sweating.
So
yeah.
How do you gauge a good workout? And I'm sure that depends on the person, but can you talk to us about that for a minute?
Yeah, so it's definitely not sweating. Although psychologically, I do like it better when I am pouring sweat. I do.
Oh yeah.
In my brain, I'm like, God, that was a good workout.
I've seen your stories where you're doing the yoga sessions. And
everybody
melting. In the room is just soaked. And the room is like got a puddle of water in it.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the sweat factor, but it's not essential to getting a good workout. And you don't need to be sore. I get a lot of people who are like, I'm not sore after these workouts. Is it not working? No, it's working. You don't need to be sore. You don't need to sweat a ton. The idea of if it's a good workout is if, you are consistently getting to muscle fatigue when you're doing a strength workout, but if you're doing, 4 sets of 12 bicep curls or something like that, and you can get through all 12 and it's like, then you're not working hard enough. You're not going to get, because your muscles need to tear,
Right.
They need to have those tiny little tears so that they can build back stronger. So you do need to make sure that you are building to fatigue, not quite failure unless that's on your program, but you do want to make sure that you are getting that volume in for those muscle groups. And there's, for each muscle group, there's a certain amount of volume that you need to accumulate every week as far as, I need to be doing, 30 sets of bicep specific exercises if I want my biceps to get bigger. And those can be different bicep exercises, but you have to have a certain amount of volume. And so making sure that you get that volume in those areas that you want to target is important. But
how would somebody figure out what volume they need?
That's why you need a trainer.
Yeah.
but no, so you can go in a program. You can, most trainers who sell programs, they know, what you need to be doing in order to gain muscle.
Yeah.
So, you could get a program from a trainer, or, sometimes you can look on Pinterest and, find a workout there and it gives you an idea. But for the most part, that's when you need to, if you are really ready to dial it in, you need a trainer to help you. Yeah, to just help you figure out, these are my goals, and they can help you break it down into, this is our plan. This is when you want to achieve this. This is what we need to do. I'll do my part. I'll tell you what you need to do. I'll give you the advice so that you can do it the right way. But you're only with me 30 minutes, 3 times a week. The other 23 hours and 30 minutes of that day, it's all up to them, So
do you build any plans for people that you don't directly go to the gym with? You build a plan, you say you execute it, and it's up to them that they have to execute it.
Yeah, so I have a lot of online personal training clients, and so I build programs for them. And I keep them accountable every single day, not just with the workout, but also, if they're sleeping well, if they're getting enough water, if their diet's on point, if they were super stressful, I'm checking in with them 5 times a day to make sure that they are, creating and maintaining the habits that, we have set in for them that they need to be doing to get to where they want to get. But yes, it includes, a workout program based on their goals. Yeah. And, they can send me videos, if they're worried about their form or whatever. And, I'm always there to answer any questions they have. Online training ends up being, if you're okay with working out by yourself and you don't need someone there, right, telling you what to do right then at that moment, it ends up being better because you get more workouts.
Yeah.
You get that, 5 times a day I'm checking in on you kind of thing. And, it's that constant consistency because you shouldn't be with a trainer for the rest of your life. You know what I mean? You should be able to formulate habits and be able to do it without someone standing right over you telling you, It's just like parenting. I'm not going to be standing over my kids telling them to put their damn shoes in the shoe basket for, when they're 30, So hopefully I'm creating habits in them that, I won't need to be standing over them forever. Same thing with clients, I should be able to set them free, once they create the habits on their own.
And if they're cheating their habits, they're cheating themselves.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we are... you can blame the trainer all you want, but like I said, you're only with us 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
And it's the rest of that time, Jocko, you got to have that discipline.
Yep.
Just like he's saying, you got to have the discipline. It's not about motivation. It's because motivation goes away. Like, it disappears. You've got to have the discipline to continue doing that stuff even when you really don't want to do it.
Right.
Like when you're at a party and everybody's drinking and eating all that crap, you got to have that discipline to say, yes, that would taste really good right now. I would really enjoy that. But is that where I want to go? Like, is that going to get me closer to my goals?
Right.
And that's why having a trainer helps, like that, especially the online trainer, because I can help talk you off a ledge. I talk people off a ledge a lot of times when they're like, I had a really bad day. I got invited for drinks. What should I do? And a lot of times I'll tell them, you can go, you can enjoy yourself. You're not supposed to be miserable. You're human. But just remember what your goals are, If you are going to go out to a party or whatever, and you know that there's going to be food there that you're going to want to eat and you're going to want to drink, make sure you're drinking a lot of water before you get there. Have a snack, have a healthy snack so that you're not starving by the time you get there.
Right.
There are different, habits and tricks and tips that you can get from your trainers to help you, during those times of weakness, because we all have them.
During a situation like that, would you ever recommend someone intermittent fast?
So intermittent fasting works well for men, what I've seen.
Really?
So if you think about it biologically, men, back in the olden days, you guys had to fast.
Days.
Yeah, in the caveman days, you guys had to fast because y'all were out there hunting and, you had to be out there. You had to be quiet. You can't be snacking on some Ruffles while you're trying to kill a bear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you guys had to fast for extended periods of time so that you could bring the food so that it could be cooked and all that other stuff. The women, on the other hand, we were feeding babies and giving birth, and we were, growing families and taking care of things, and we were right there, so we needed that constant, we're not as good at going long periods of time without eating the way guys are. But I've seen better results with guys.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, some girls can do it.
Yeah.
I cannot. I have to eat. I have to eat all the time.
What's your philosophy on drinking? Do you not do it just strictly from a dietary standpoint?
So... sort of
poison for the body.
Yeah, but I mean, so, it all depends on, so I don't really drink. I don't, I just did, some company just sent me something. They said it's like Gatorade with a buzz. They just sent me some and I'm tempted to try it. But no, I haven't drank in a long time. And it's just because I know the way it makes me feel. It's not worth it. Like, yeah, you chill out, you relax for a little bit. It's fun. But then, I don't enjoy the headaches and I don't enjoy the way it makes me feel later. I don't want to work out. I want to eat like crap, I'm not in a good mood for my kids. And that was initially what it was. Because whenever I stopped drinking, my kids were very, very young. Because I knew any time that I drank was the night that they were going to be up all night. Like that I was not going to sleep. That's kind of what got me in the groove of, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And it does. It makes you feel better. It's, But then there's an exchange. I have a lot of clients and I tell them, one of the best ways for you to get in shape and to lose some weight is to stop drinking. And a lot of them will say, I'd rather be 10 or 15 pounds heavy and be able to have, that glass of wine at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's fine. Whatever. Yeah. Do what you want to do. Yeah. But just realize that, that's the exchange.
Yeah.
Would you say that people that work out, or not people, but like, is working out in the morning versus the evening better for muscle gain and fat loss, or is there one that's better than the other, or does it just depend on the person?
It depends on the person. It depends on your age a lot of times too. Yeah.
How does age play a factor into that?
So when you're older, when you wake up in the morning, it takes longer for your joints to lubricate. At the end, I don't know if you feel this yet because you guys are younger than me, but you feel very stiff in the morning, and it's very hard to get your muscles and your joints warmed up, so everything kind of just feels tighter. That's because your joints, they're not warmed up and lubricated the way they will be later in the afternoon. So generally older people, they do better in the afternoons, lunchtime on.
Yeah.
Young people can work out whenever, they don't have to warm up. They don't have to do anything. They just jump right in. Like, first squat of the day is 1 rep max, and they're fine. But it just depends on the person too. Like I said, the thing that's going to be best for you is the thing that you can maintain. So don't think that I'm only going to get good results if I work out at 8 a.m., but I can't work out at 8 a.m. Just work out whenever you can, whether that is, 6 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just got to be what works with your schedule, because, it's something that it's got to be something that you maintain, like bottom line. Yeah.
For the older folk. You know what I'm saying?
For us older folks.
For the older folks that they got the stiff joints in the morning.
Yeah, you got to eat before or you got to work out before your early bird, and then get to bed in time to get a good night's sleep. Yeah.
What would you say for them? Like, let's say that they have to work out in the morning because their schedule during the day is just so crazy.
Yeah, just make your warm up longer. Make sure that you're, scheduling in time for your muscles to get warm and your joints to lubricate and all that stuff, getting your body temperature up so that, if you are going to do heavy squats in the morning and you're older, your body's a little bit more primed for it.
Right. What would be an ideal warm up?
It just depends. I usually just say, do 5 to 10 minutes of, a little bit of light cardio, whether that's, on a bike or a rower or, walking on a treadmill, going for a short walk. You don't necessarily need to do a lot of big stretches. That's better for after your workout. But, you don't need to do anything fancy. Really, just a good warm up is just, mimicking the movements that you're going to do for your workout. So if it's going to be a squat day, warm up with a little bit of cardio and then do some squats, activate the muscles of your glutes, you don't need to do banded distractions and, 30 minutes of yoga and all this other stuff. You just need to get your body and your mind primed for this is what we're about to do.
Right.
And, you're good to go. Nothing fancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does time or length of a workout and age of a person play a role in the calorie or fat burning?
So calorie and fat burning has a lot to do with your body mass. I mean, age does play a factor, especially for women as we get older. Our metabolism slows as we reach menopause and, when we're postmenopausal. That does play a big factor in the hormones and all that other stuff. But as far as the type of workout and your age, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Or does your workout with your age, does it, the role of like the timing of a workout, the length of the workout, and your age, so somebody's age, is that like ratio change for ideal fat loss? Like let's say a person is getting older. Yeah. Does their workout need to be longer, shorter, whatever, to improve fat loss?
So I don't think it's all about, in my philosophy from, coming from a CrossFit background, it's all about intensity, So if you can only have a shorter workout, that means it needs to be more intense. But if you want that same intensity, so bodybuilders, they work out for 3 hours at a time. You know what I mean? And that gives them the intensity they need for their muscles, the volume and all that other stuff to accumulate so that they can build the muscle. So the goal of a CrossFitter is to be stronger, and also, we always say we want to be prepared for anything, the zombie apocalypse. We want to be ready for that, we want to run faster than you guys.
By the way, do you see that zombie movie on Netflix?
No,
you
what
gotta
is
watch
it?
It's
really?
Good. What's it called again?
Army of the Dead. See, that's the other thing too, is I don't ever get to watch anything for adults, like SpongeBob. When I left the house, The Simpsons was still on TV. So I really don't get, and YouTubers. God, we have a smart TV, and so now they like watching YouTubers all the time, and so I'm watching, Mr. Beast. Have y'all ever heard of Mr. Beast?
Nope.
Yeah.
I have to look it up.
He's like, there was the video they just watched was you get $1 for every curl you do with this 1 pound weight, and this guy did 32,000 curls.
What the heck? Yeah, did he pop a bicep?
He was like a bodybuilder or something like that, and he did 32,000 curls. So this Mr. Beast guy gave him $32,000 and then another $50,000 just because he did it.
World?
I don't know. Yeah, so this guy just throws money at people. It's ridiculous, and he lives in North Carolina, so you should go up there every now and then.
My kids like watching other people play with dinosaur toys.
Yes.
Have you seen those?
Unboxing toys, yes.
They're obsessed with
crazy.
I'm like, what the heck are we doing?
Like, why? Whatever. I mean, if I don't have to buy it for you, you just want to see somebody open it. All right, whatever. I don't get that either. But these people are making like millions of dollars just opening toys.
They got hundreds of thousands of views. They got the money coming.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
And they've got like toy lines. Like I walk in Target now, and like there's legit toy lines for these YouTubers.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. It's a different world.
I just said the other day, I said, maybe I should just start making videos like playing with toys.
Well, what do you know? Yeah. We're just going to make videos talking about stuff. $1 million, here we come.
Yep. So anyway, if they're in the gym for a shorter period of time, or depending on what they're doing, it needs to be more high intensity.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've ever heard of like a CrossFit workout called Fran. Okay, yeah. So Fran is really only supposed to be like, if you're super fit, it's between like 5 and 8 minutes. That's a good time for, us average CrossFitters. But it's 5 to 8 minutes of absolute misery. Yeah. Like everybody hates that workout because it is, I will not do that workout unless somebody forces me.
Yeah.
So that amount of intensity is, it's a very short period of time, but it's a very effective workout for that specific goal, It's going to get your heart rate jacked up, but you're also going to get stronger because you're doing pull-ups and thrusters.
Yeah.
But it just depends on your goals, you know what I mean? And how much time you have. Like if you only have 30 minutes, don't go into the gym and do a workout that's supposed to take longer than that. Right. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You want to go in there and make those 30 minutes count. Like that's why it used to make me angry when the trainers at my first gym, they would only have these people for 30 minutes, but they'd only walk them around to machines. Like you're not going to get any results in a 30-minute workout, doing machines and talking to somebody the entire time. Like that's not... You're not going to get anything out of that. So
now we're on the subject of that. Let's talk about people like, and the gym's like a community, like a traditional gym. Not, CrossFit gym is too, but like let's talk about a traditional gym. It's a community.
Yeah.
You're trying to get a workout. You got your buddy so and so, your gym buddy. Hey brother, how was your weekend? You're like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to work out. You know what I'm saying?
That's where
it's a challenge. You know what I'm saying?
That's where RBF comes in. Like if you kind of just look like you're angry all the time, people don't really come up to you as much. Oh, yeah. So you just got to learn to develop that.
Keep your earphones in, even if your iPod died. Yes. Just keep them still in your ear.
Don't look at me. I can't see anybody. Yeah. And so I've gotten that actually from people. Like they'll text me or message me later and say, I was going to say hi to you in the gym, but you look like you were really focused, so I didn't want to say anything. So you just got to have that look on your face, like I'm all business here.
Yeah.
It usually, sometimes it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are still going to come up to you. Yeah. So it's just a matter of if you know that you're going to talk a lot. You just gotta factor. I can't do it. Like I see people in there and they're just talking the whole time, and I'm like, are y'all gonna work out at all? Like, is that a thing, or do y'all just wear your leggings and talk the whole time?
Well, he has 6 friends at the gym now.
Well, I've toned it down because what I figured out, I'm pretty sure what happened that it contributed to this injury is, I'd get super intense into a workout, stop for 10 minutes to talk to somebody, so my body's warming down. Yeah. My muscles, my whole body
and your brain's not in it either.
And then I go back into what I was supposed to, and it's not there.
Yeah.
And so now I'm compensating for other things, and it's just like,
or you're distracted.
Good,
yeah. That's happened to me a few times, and it pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like I'll be in the middle of a really heavy set, and then I'll talk to somebody, I'm not saying y'all don't talk to me. You know what I mean? Like y'all can still come say hi. Yeah. But if I'm about to do like a really heavy set and then I go talk to somebody and then I turn back around, I know in my brain, I'm like, I'm not going to be able to lift that. Like I put all that weight on, but now my brain's not in it. My muscles, they're not all primed. I'm not all pumped up. I'm not listening to my Eye of the Tiger. I'm not going to be able to do this. Yeah. So it's tough. That's why having a home gym is it comes in handy too.
Absolutely.
Except for, I do have children and they don't, they don't know the rules of lifting. They're like standing right in front of me when I'm trying to do a lift and they're like, Mom.
Yeah.
What was he saying to me? God, I don't remember. It was something about a lizard. And I was like in the middle. I was trying to do a really heavy lift.
Oh, yeah.
And, so that is the other thing. That's the other trick you got to get used to.
Or you have your dog running and jump on you.
Yeah. Well, so my dog, Puck, he is the sweetest dog on earth. He will follow me everywhere. And he's very, very chill. Like he'll just kind of lay on my yoga mat while I'm working out. Yeah. He knows like, okay, she's moving the barbell over there. I got to move out of the way.
Good gym buddy.
He is. He's a very good workout buddy. But he's a big old black lab. He's a lot of fun though.
Nice.
I love him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's jump into nutrition a little bit.
Okay.
All right, so what are some of the major components that you would say there is to having a good nutritional plan?
So you need to, first of all, know how many calories you should be eating, because it doesn't matter if you're eating a ton of healthy stuff. If you're still eating too many calories, you're going to gain weight. You know what I mean? So you need to know how many calories you're supposed to be eating. And then, if you want to be in a deficit, you need to take a certain amount of calories away from that. So you need to know how many calories you burn just doing what you do every day long. Everybody has that, resting metabolic rate of how many calories you're going to burn if you just kind of do your everyday activity.
Yeah.
Not counting the exercise and not counting, a calorie deficit. So once you figure that out, then you have kind of a framework of, okay, well, I can eat, 1,900 calories. Then you break it down. I recommend that people eat a lot of protein, because it keeps you fuller, it helps you build muscle, it helps you recover, and you're not eating a ton of, it's harder to eat protein that is, over processed and all that other stuff, the way that carbs have been these days. Everything is, soaked in high fructose corn syrup and all that other stuff. And so it's easy to get caught up in things that are not as good for you. I tell people all the time, carbs are not your enemy, but it's easy to get tripped up with carbs because they're delicious.
They are.
You know what I mean?
So good.
So yeah, it's about finding that balance. I like people to eat. A lot of people think that it is 1 gram per pound of body weight, but it's actually more 1 gram per kilogram of your body weight.
You're talking about protein specifically?
Yeah, as far as protein, how many grams of protein you want to eat every day. It's a lot more manageable for most people to think of 1 gram per kilogram of their body weight. And
what does that kind of break down to? Like 1 gram per kilogram is...
if you take your body weight and divide it by 2.2, that is kilograms. That's a lot more manageable for everyday life. If you're trying to gain muscle and all that stuff, obviously you want to eat more protein than that. But a good goal, especially for females, because they have a harder time eating protein, is 1 gram per kilogram. So I don't know how many kilograms I am, but, let's say you are 220 pounds. You will want to eat 100 grams of protein, because that's 100 kilograms, right? Is that the math?
I would think so. Let's
okay,
break
220,
it down real quick. 220
divided by 2.2.
220 divided by 2.2. Oh, 220 divided by 2.2. 1,100? That doesn't make sense. 220 divided by 2.2.
There we go. Okay, there we go. 100. So it is. It's 100 grams of protein. That would be a good base amount for you to aim for, especially if you're just changing your diet to being super carb heavy, to start focusing on protein. What was the other part?
And so then they bring in the carbs, and like how they come in with the carbs and fats. It
just depends on, I don't know. So I have a few meal plans, and a lot of them are very plant heavy, because you want to get, so plants have carbs, but they also have a ton of vitamins and minerals and all kinds of nutrients that you need. So finding a carb that is not just straight up sugar is beneficial. So a lot of plant heavy type foods.
Sweet potatoes?
Sweet potatoes are good.
Good to go?
Yeah, they're good. It's just
they're
a matter
delicious.
of, yeah, they are. We're having them for dinner tonight.
Nice.
It's just a matter of, don't make the majority of your plate sweet potatoes whenever you're eating them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's a guide I have in one of my meal plans that kind of shows you, so you don't have to carry around a scale all the time of, how big your portion sizes should be, because, I say base it on your hand. With your hand, everybody's hand is different, which means that, my hand is smaller. So that means, like, if we want a palm size portion of protein, obviously your hand is bigger. So you're going to have a bigger size portion of protein, you know? And, with every meal they say you want about a thumb size portion of fat. So my thumb is smaller than yours because you need a little bit more fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is an easier way to carry around a scale to decide what your portion sizes should be.
Right.
But maintaining portion sizes, keeping your calories in check, and then eating things that are higher in, vitamins and minerals and nutrients and stuff like that is going to help you. Not sticking to one food group, like
chicken and rice.
The chicken and rice. So the chicken and rice, the thing that's also tricky for some people is a lot of healthy diets are pretty boring. You know what I mean? Like, it's very basic. It's a protein, it's a, high quality carb, and then it's a vegetable. And most people want variety. You know what I mean? That's another thing that you have to kind of adjust, is every night is not going to be, a fancy meal that you want to post on Pinterest or on Instagram or whatever. Yeah. It's going to be pretty basic, but that is, just like with everything else, the basic stuff is going to get you where you want to go. Right. You don't need the fancy, sauces and all that other stuff. You just need to stick to the basics, and those are the effective ones. And then, just like I said, don't stick to one food group, like only eating protein, like the carnivore diet or the keto or whatever.
Those fad diets.
Yeah, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine somebody feeling good after they eat like a pound of bacon for breakfast. Like,
I don't understand how people
I don't understand it. It's like, how does that make you feel good?
Yeah. It's got to be sustainable for that person.
I guess.
What I'm saying? And it's got to be like a balance too.
Yeah, I just can't see how that would be sustainable.
So they should like pretty much figure out what their maintenance calories are, essentially.
Yeah.
And then either surplus or deficit based on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
And so there's a few ways to do it. Like, if you go online, you can find a calculator, and it asks you how active you are usually on these calculators. And so if you don't factor in your exercise, and after you get those calories, you exercise and you're on a deficit, you're going to burn even more calories. So it depends on how extreme you want to go. Like, do you want to factor in the calories that you're going to burn during your exercise, or do you want to go so hard that you're not even going to factor those in? I want to know how many calories I burn every day without exercising, and then I'm going to exercise, and I'm going to be in a deficit. Like, you probably end up feeling like crap. Yeah. But, that's the more extreme way to cut back on your calories.
Yeah.
Well,
actually, for me, this injury also happened because I was like, I need to lose some body fat.
Yeah.
And so I went into a pretty aggressive deficit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kept my workouts the same.
Yeah.
Pretty much just overworked myself. Plus, I'm active all day training dogs. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
So that's something like, what would you say for somebody in that situation? They want to come into a deficit. Do they need to alter their workouts so they're not overworking their body?
I turn it around the other way. I focus on the workout because I'm a trainer, and I say, okay, if it ends up, that with this deficit, you can't work out as hard, you're exhausted all the time, you feel like you're getting sick, you feel like you want to sleep more, then you're not eating enough calories, So if you're in too much of a deficit, it's not a good thing, because you're going to be miserable.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to want to work out. And when you work out, you're going to be too tired to do a good workout. And so it's kind of this spiral of, you need to have that balance of, I need to do a hard workout, and I need to eat a balanced diet that's going to help me fuel my body so that I can do everything that I want to do during the day, but I'm not eating so much that I'm going to start gaining body fat, because you want to be able to go hard in the gym, and you want to be able to have energy. What's the point of being, in shape or thin or whatever if you're just tired and you can't do anything all day? So you want to eat enough calories so that you can sustain your daily activity. You just don't want to eat so much that you're storing body fat. So there's a balance. It's a lot of trial and error for a lot of people.
Yeah. And with your clients, are you like going through this nutritional as part of your package? Like, hey,
if they do, if they decide they want to do the nutrition stuff, then it's a whole. I have the meal plans, and I have the advice and the tips and all the other stuff for them whenever they want to change their diet, which is, at the end of the day, that's where you're going to get the results as far as body fat is what you're doing in the kitchen. Because if you work out for an hour and you burn 500 calories, but then you go to Starbucks and you get a Frappuccino, you've just undone everything. You know what I mean? So it sucks. It
People
really
love
does.
their Starbucks now.
They do, but is it worth it? Like, do you want to run 6 miles and then have a Frappuccino and it's like you never ran at all?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Or they work out and they go have Wendy's.
Yes, yes. I'm going to treat myself. I just worked out for 45 minutes. So, yeah, that's counterproductive as well. So, yeah. There is there's a balance with everything. And a lot of people in the beginning, they want to go really hard. They're like, I'm all in. Let's do this. And then they burn out because they're at too big of a deficit. They're working out too hard for what their body's used to. And then they burn out. And that's when they binge. And that's when they stop working out. And that's when they just fall off the wagon and they get super discouraged. So
they're watching TV at night with the big party-sized double-stuffed Oreos. They wake up the next day, it's empty. They're like, oh, what happened?
What happened?
They're calling you, Heather,
It's
I
all
messed
over.
up.
Yeah. Heather, what you do to me? Why am I not losing weight?
So, talked about nutrition a little bit. Kind of curious as to your thoughts on digestion. I don't know if you focus on digestion a lot, but how important is it? How can we improve it? You know, there's a lot of people that are on supplements like protein powders, and they're just, having a hard time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll talk about supplements here in a little bit, but, digestion.
Yeah, so I have a couple of people who are very good with focusing on gut health. I know a few of them that really, it does make a big difference. The way your body digests the food, the way it makes you feel. Like if you're feeling bloated and if you're not going to the bathroom when you should, there's something going on there. I don't really know that much. I usually refer people to professionals who are really good with that gut health stuff because it's a whole different process, and it does make a big difference for a lot of people. And a lot of people have stomach issues. I've never really had any issues, but I have a lot of clients who they have a rough time. Like either, they never go to the bathroom, or they're always feeling bloated, or their stomach always hurts, or
they're always going to the bathroom.
They're never not going to the bathroom. Yeah. And it makes a difference in the way your body absorbs the nutrients. Like if you constantly have diarrhea, obviously your body isn't having time to absorb all that stuff. So there's something going on, but I usually refer it to other people.
Refer it out to an expert.
Yeah, there's one girl, her name, on Instagram, her name is Organic Blondie. She's local here in Charleston. Y'all would be interested in talking to her too, because she, her name's Courtney, and she is all about, your internal, I can't remember what she calls it, but it's like your biome, your inside your body, the way that operates and how much of a difference that makes with your fitness and your health and all that other stuff. So she would be interesting to talk to because she's all about that stuff. I always refer people to her. I'm like, ask Courtney.
Digestion is super important.
It is.
And I feel like you already talked about the nutrients being absorbed by your body. You know what I'm saying? Like you may be eating tons of protein, but how much is your body actually getting? So definitely want to talk to her. Thanks for letting us know about it.
No, she'd be interesting to talk to for sure.
Good to go. Let's see. Is protein overload beneficial, or is it a myth? Let's say someone's like, you need to have 2 grams of protein per pound per day, and someone's stuffing that in them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, so like we just said, I think there's a limit. I think there's a certain amount of, calories that your body can absorb and protein that your body can process in a certain period of time. But I think there is a lot to be said for if you are trying to gain weight, eat as much protein. My brother, so I have a brother, he's 13 months younger than me, and he was always on the smaller side. And he was about 160 pounds, and he wanted to get to 200. And he got to 210 pounds, but he said, I've been full since 2011. Like, I am never not eating. So it's tough. It's really tough. I mean, people think it's hard to lose weight. It's also hard to gain weight. If you have trouble, packing on muscle, you have to eat a lot, and you have to, it's like uncomfortably full all the time. If you ever have you ever seen those documentaries about the strongmen like Eddie Hall and Brian Shaw? Like the food, I think they said the difference is the food. Like you have to, it's not fun to eat as much food as they eat to maintain that muscle. And I mean, it's different, you know?
Yeah, I was kind of in that same boat. Obviously, I'm smaller.
Yeah.
But like I worked out every day.
Yeah.
I used to do 5 days a week. Now I kind of do 4.
Sometimes.
But like the eating was like annoying to me.
Yeah.
Because like I weigh like 160-ish.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be 180, 200.
Mm-hmm.
And then the amount of eating I had to do
Yeah.
was like annoying annoying to me. I was like, I always have to eat. I would have reminders on my phone to eat and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think
Super
I'm just
hard to
gonna
get it in.
accept that like this is my frame.
Yeah.
And just like fine tune it basically, and just not, worry about overloading myself trying to be as big as I possibly can be.
The
like body type.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people overlook that. Like this is my
They
body
do.
type. Like, I'm just like a thin like.
You do. Everybody has kind of everybody
kind
of has a frame. So if you do have a bigger frame, it's going to take more for you to get to, the people who are naturally smaller framed. That's like their homeostasis. So, your homeostasis, you're comfortable right here. You don't have to try to gain or lose weight right now, right? So it's the same thing. You could get to 200 pounds. But is it worth it as far as like quality of life? Like, would you be okay? Like, I'm 200 pounds, but I feel like total crap because I'm always full. And, I look, I'm shredded. I got 20 pounds of extra muscle, but I also feel like crap. Like, there's that exchange, like we said earlier with the person my clients who want to keep drinking. There's that exchange. Like, do I want to be 15 pounds lighter and not drink? Or do I want to be able to have a bottle of wine and be a little bit heavier? Right. And so everybody has that exchange. You know what I mean?
I feel like when you're at that homeostasis state, like you're at your genetics, right? And then like going above that or like, gaining on top of that, you're really pushing your genetics as hard as you can to try and get that on there.
Yeah.
And once you get there, you got to maintain it. And that just, you're just hurting.
It's hard to do. It is. It's really hard to do. And I mean, so I don't know how long that can last. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know. Like, does it ever become, okay, this is who I am now. Like, I just know that for the rest of my life, I'm going to be full. Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning of this year, my goal personally was to get like up to 230.
Yeah.
And I was eating 5 meals a day, 10 ounces of rice, 10 ounces of chicken, essentially. Yeah. Mix it up sometimes with beef and stuff. But I'm like dreading my next meal. I'm like, oh my God, it's time to eat again. Yeah. I'm like shoving it in, chugging water just to get it down, Yeah. I got up to 223 and I was like, that's it. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah. So what's your weight now?
I'm homeostasis for me is around 215, 220.
Yeah. So that's, everybody kind of has that sweet spot. And, if you don't want to be at that point, you do have to make some sacrifices. You do have to make some changes. And a lot of times it can be really tough. And then you might realize, okay, maybe this isn't worth it. I don't want to be in a calorie deficit for the rest of my life just so I can be, a size 8 instead of a size 12. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's that exchange. And eventually, maybe your priorities change. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't develop those habits that will help you be a healthier person. Right. Just because your body wants to stay at a certain size doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to change your habits so that you can be a smaller size. You know what I mean? You just have to realize you're working with an internal system that's very different than everybody else. You know what I mean? So, it's very hard for me to build muscle. And, whereas men, you've got like 50 times more testosterone, so it's easier for you to build muscle. Yeah. You just have to adapt. Like, women can't train. We're not small men. We can't train the same way you guys do. Yeah. So, you just have to take all that stuff into account and, mash it all together and throw it in the blender and hopefully it turns out good. Just kidding. It's not a crapshoot.
Have a good time though, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
don't stress yourself out about it,
Not forever, you know. And so there's certain times when you want to do challenges, like if you're training for an Ironman, that's not going to be the way you are for the rest of your life. Right. But, every now and then you do want to set yourself up for a challenge. I mean, I would think so. Yeah. You
gotta. Challenge is kind of like a self discovery as well.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, okay, like maybe I can't be like 200. Like I'm just gonna be cool being 160, 170.
Yeah.
And just like this is just who I am.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
and just be the fittest, most satisfied version of yourself. Just because that you kind of stay at 170 doesn't mean that all right. Well, I'm 170. I'm just gonna not work out, and I'm gonna be like a floppy 170. You still want to be super fit and just not accept your lot in life as whatever, but throw yourself a challenge out there. Try to be the best version of yourself, and that means doing things that are very uncomfortable for you. But you shouldn't think that that's how you should be forever.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe you challenge yourself to do the Tough Mudder, and you got to get in shape.
Yeah, I did a Spartan race, and those are actually a lot of fun. Yeah, those are a lot of fun. The mud and the barbed wire and the climbing up all that other stuff.
Is that the one with the electricity and the fires?
Yeah, we did that one. We had to crawl underneath it.
Did you get zapped at all, or you were able to stay low?
I might have gotten zapped a couple of times. I was so tired because they put it at the end, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have to stand up and do like a spear throwing thing and then climb. At that point, you're just like, whatever, I don't care. I'll do the burpees. Just let me get my little medal and my T-shirt, and I want to go home. So, but no, those are actually a lot of fun. I've done a couple of those. And I think they do a Tough Mudder around here, don't they?
I think they do, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
But yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun little challenges, just to say that you did it.
Get some camaraderie going with your team.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah. For sure.
Another question about nutrition, very specific question.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on applesauce?
I love applesauce. What's wrong with applesauce?
It's just a question.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'll actually, if I'm in a rush and I'm on the way to the gym and I don't have anything to eat, I'll take some of my kids' applesauce and eat it on the way. Nice. Because it's apples. It's going to get right there, and it's that fast burning or that fast absorbing carbs that you need to do a hard workout. Yeah. So
good to go.
I'm all about the applesauce.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
I like to hear it. All right. Let's talk about recovery now. So you already talked a little bit about sleep. Mm-hmm. What are the takeaways about sleep? How does it affect everything else?
Oh, well, so think about the last time you did not get a good night's sleep.
Horrible.
Yeah, right? You're miserable. You're just grumpy. You just want to eat a bunch of, you need more calories because you didn't get the sleep you needed. So your body needs something to fuel it. Mm-hmm. So you eat more calories, you eat more crap, if you don't get enough sleep, going to work out at a gym does not sound very, appealing at that point. And so sleep is very important, and it's tough. If I get 6 hours of sleep, I'm super excited. But if you can get 7 or 8 hours of sleep, that's awesome. Yeah. Because that is what people need to realize is sleep is when you're building your muscle. When you're working out, that's when you're breaking it down. Mm-hmm. But your sleep is where your body is putting that all back together so that you can be stronger and so you can build the muscle. Your muscles are not growing while you're working out. They're getting broken down. So you got to have time for that breakdown to be repaired. Mm-hmm. And that's when you're sleeping. That's when you need to, devote time to growing the muscle. That's what you need to think of it. It's not, if you don't want to think about, okay, sleeping is a waste of time, well, think about it as this is, I'm letting my muscles cook right now, while I'm sleeping. So it's very important, for sure.
So you would say somewhere between 6 to 8 hours is what you would recommend?
It depends on how old you are, too. So older people need less sleep.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why, the old people, they'll wake up at 4 a.m. And they're good to go, they still need, so I think older people, they still need, between 6 and 8 hours. Mm-hmm. But, when you are like my kids' age, they need like 12, 13 hours of sleep. Yeah. Teenagers need more than little ones need.
Because they're still growing. They're developing at a faster rate.
Think about when you were in high school, how miserable. It was hard to get up at 7 a.m.
This guy.
It was miserable, right?
I have a strong philosophy that kids should not be up that early.
Right? I thought that too. It's so true though, because I remember how hard it was for me to get up in the morning to go to high school. And so now I think they've changed it actually, because now, my little ones start at 7:30 and my big ones start at 8:30. So, it's a little different. Yeah, I know. I had to be there at 7:15 every day. Bull crap, right?
Like 7:15.
Yeah.
7 something.
What a ripoff. Yeah. And we stayed an hour later. Like my little ones, they get out at 2:20. We got out at like 3:30.
Yeah. So the moms back in the day, they had it easier because their kids were gone long.
Exactly. Exactly, Mom. Remember that
one. Something else about sleep is like, what about before sleep meals or nutrition before sleep? There's a lot of myths like, hey, don't eat anything before you sleep. You're going to get fat.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, so, there is a little bit of truth to that. You don't want to, just because like I just said, sleep is when you need to be repairing your muscles. If you eat something and you go to bed, your muscle or your body has to work to digest that food. So resources that were going to be used to repair your muscles, and they now have to be used to digest your food. So you do kind of want to leave a little bit of a gap. You kind of want to leave a little bit of a gap between, when you eat and then when you go to bed, just to give your body that time when you're sleeping to repair your muscles.
Any recommendations on timing for that?
I don't
30 minutes,
know.
60 minutes?
I mean, so I would
minutes?
say, an hour or two at least.
Okay.
I think a lot of people say, okay, I don't eat past 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
If that works for you, just to keep the hours that you're not eating less, I guess, then, by all means. But, if
what
I'm
about
going
hydration before sleep?
Oh, I'm all about it. Yeah. The
Just
more you drink.
Chug 40 ounces.
Yeah. Just, you have to be okay.
Yeah.
So hydration is huge for me because, you're in a better mood. Your brain works better. You're not as hungry. And your body functions better. So you have to be okay with just peeing constantly.
Yeah.
Like you just got to be okay with it because it does. And you have to think of, maybe do an experiment with yourself where you're not drinking water one day and then drink a ton the next day. You will see that you're thinking clearer. You have more energy. You can do more work. You're nicer to people and you don't get headaches and, you're not as hungry and snacking on crap all the time when you're super hydrated. But when when you're dehydrated, it just like when you don't get enough sleep. It's not just about exercising and eating well. There's, all kinds of other stuff like we've just been talking about. It's, so the sleep and the hydration is another big part. Yeah. Huge part.
What about when someone first wakes up? Should they just start drinking immediately?
I think so. Yeah. Especially like if your first thing is to get a cup of coffee, pour yourself a big glass of water too, like while the coffee's brewing or whatever. I don't know. I don't drink coffee. Yeah. I drink Monster and Jocko instead. Yeah. And so, in the morning, I'll crack open a refreshing energy drink, but then I also have my big bottle of water that I'll drink as well. Yeah. So just to get you started on the right foot,
Good to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I know if I feel like I get a headache in the middle of the day, instead of popping some ibuprofen or Tylenol, I just usually chug like 40 ounces of water, and then I'm good to go.
Right. Right. It does. It makes a huge difference. And, I find that I'm a lot nicer when I'm hydrated. Usually.
I gotta pee like 5 minutes
right?
later,
Yeah. My kids, they already kind of know, like, okay, mom is either hungry or she needs to drink some water when she's in a bad mood. Like even my older two, they'll be like, Mom, you need to go eat. Mom, have you been drinking your water? Because they can notice how different it is.
They're your accountability partners.
They really are. And I get really mad whenever they say it, but it's also totally true. Because they'll be like, Mom, you need to go eat. I'm like, I do not need to go eat. You just need to behave.
You need to put your shoes
on
the shoe rack.
Put your shoes in the damn shoe basket. And then I go eat, and I'm like, oh, you're right. Yeah. That was it. That was it. Oh.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say another thing about recovery, incorporating rest in between your workout plan. So, like, do you do 5 days on, 2 days off, 4 days on, 1 day off? Like, you any recommendations, or you go hard 24/7? Just go.
Just go until your bicep tears.
Lesson learned the hard way sometimes,
Never gonna let you wear that one down. Yeah, so it all depends. If you are a bodybuilder, I think they do a lot of different kinds of splits. Like some people do like a push day and a pull day, and upper body, lower body, biceps and back, and so it just depends on your preferences. I like to personally, and this is the way I program for my clients too, is I do an upper body focused Metcon. I do a lower body focused Metcon, and then I do, some total body workouts. I do some core workouts. So I kind of mix it up, and I don't focus on specifically isolating muscles the way bodybuilders do. But we all have different goals.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem. I've worked out with a few people who are like, well, we did burpees yesterday. We can't do push-ups today. Your body you can do push-ups in more than one day. Like you can do push-ups every single day. You can do squats. Your body is meant to move, That being said, like you don't want to do a 1 rep max deadlift and then deadlift the next day. It might be a little worn out for that. So
pop a hammy doing that.
You might blow a hammy. You never know. Or, you might throw your back out or, something like that. So, you want to be smart, but also there's nothing wrong with exercising the same part of your body multiple times per week.
Yeah.
Like, unless you are starting to see that you are constantly achy, or you get an injury or something like that, there's nothing wrong with moving your entire body every single day. There's just like, you don't need to take a full rest day. You know what I mean? I want you to be active every single day. So even on your rest day, I want you to, go for a bike ride, go play outside. If it's your rest day, you can't tell your kids, okay, I can't play today, it's my rest day, So like, go out and be active with your kids. You want to do something every single day. It doesn't need to be lifting weights really hard, but you do need to be, be active.
Listen to your body.
Yeah, listen to your body. Your body will tell you, yes, and so the last 2 weekends, I don't know if y'all have noticed this, it's been like rainy and dreary on Sundays. Mm-hmm. Perfect nap days. Not that my kids let me nap, but I tried both times. And so, maybe my body needed that too. You just got to kind of listen. And, you really need to listen to your body if you're working out and you start to feel sick, or if you get a little injury or something like that. Mm-hmm. You really need to listen to your body at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about supplements.
Okay.
All right. What do you think? You got
I'm all
thoughts
about
on
'em.
supplements?
Yeah.
What's your favorite ones? What should we be doing?
So, definitely protein. You want to do like a protein powder. Mm-hmm. I recommend whey protein. The casein, I don't know if you've ever had casein protein. It didn't work for me. It just gave me night sweats.
Really?
Super weird. Yeah. So I can't do the casein, but I do whey protein. I do a pre-workout, like, the tub of pre-workout stuff. So I do that before I work out.
Yeah.
I don't really ascribe to the BCAA stuff. I don't really do that. Like, it's not really something that I have, as far as like the research I've done, it hasn't really seemed to be something that is essential to, building muscle or anything like that. Yeah. But fish oil is helpful as far as like joint health and, the your hormones and your brain signals and all that other stuff. I like that. What
about creatine?
Creatine's great. So creatine is really great, especially for short periods of time. I know that I've taken it a few times, and it gets to the point where your body holds on to a good bit of water. Mm-hmm. And, men might be able to handle it more than women, but it was to the point where I was so tired of feeling bloated. So I would stop taking the creatine, and within 3 days it would be gone. Mm-hmm. But it really does. It helps with energy. It helps with building muscle. It really is.
Yeah.
Like,
For men and women, it's good, but maybe cycle it. You say,
yeah, I would say cycle it. I can't remember, 8-week cycle maybe.
Okay.
I just do it until I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Gotcha. What about like multivitamins or?
It depends on the quality. It's tough to, like, if you go to the grocery store and you just get a multivitamin, like a good old Flintstone vitamin, like. You're going to pee most. Yeah, they do. They really do. But you're going to pee most of it out. You want to get the majority of your vitamins from your vegetables and your fruits and, meat. Meat has, steak, beef has creatine in it, so you can get a good bit of creatine from there too. So I would say get the majority of your vitamins and minerals and all that stuff from a big balanced diet. I don't take a multivitamin.
Yeah.
Other people that I've seen this with, most dudes who are trying to be like bodybuilders, they'll come with a gallon of water. Mm-hmm. It'll be like blue. They put some sort of supplement.
Yeah.
Intra-workout.
They drink it while they work out.
Intra-workout.
So usually that's not the case. Like, when you're working out, most of the time we don't need to be drinking Gatorade when we work out. Mm-hmm. That's just a lot of, sugar that you probably don't need. Mm-hmm. If you are working out all day long, if you're running an Ironman, if you are running a marathon, then by all means you need something like a Gatorade to keep putting fuel into your muscles. Yeah. But if you're just doing like an hour-long bodybuilding workout, like, you don't necessarily need a Gatorade to keep you fueled. You should have a good meal about an hour before you work out, and then that should keep you going until, your workout is over. Yeah. I can't really see how, so every now and then there is something that I drink called carbatine, and it is for the days when I know that I'm about to do a super cardio heavy workout, and I know that if I don't have constant carbs in my body, I'm going to crash. You know what I mean? And it works really, really well, but it's not necessary for the majority of time people work out. Mm-hmm. not at all.
What is that, like a cluster dextrin type?
It's like a it's dextrin. Yeah. And it's just like this grape flavored powder you put in your water bottle. It's really good. Yeah. But it's just straight up carbs.
So maybe only use that if you're doing super intense. Something
where your muscles are going to use a ton of fuel and they're going to need more of it quickly. Yeah. Where it needs a constant source of it. Yeah. Or you'll crash or something like that. But for a normal bodybuilding workout, I can't see how it would be necessary for most of us.
So mostly you're saying like protein's good, creatine's good, cycle it. Mm-hmm. If you're doing an intense workout, like a intracarb type situation.
Yeah. Or, I mean, maybe, you know, I don't really know this from experience, but if you are trying to gain weight, maybe that is another way that you can get calories in while you're working out. Yeah. To kind of replenish the calories that you're burning at the same time. I don't really know. Yeah. That might be an option for some people, but I don't see for the majority of people why it would be helpful.
Is there anything you're looking for specifically in your pre-workout? Or anything you don't want in your pre-workout?
So, I mean, it all depends. Like, I like it. I like the pre-workout that kind of makes you itch.
Like the itch?
Yeah, I like it. I like it because that's when I know, like, all right, it's go time. It's time to go. Yeah. And then the itch goes away once you start working out. Mm-hmm. I know some people who really hate that. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I obviously like to drink a lot of caffeine, so I want something that has a reasonable amount of caffeine. There is one that I took a while back, and it had like 600 milligrams of caffeine in it. And
what was it called? Do you know?
I can't remember. God, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, my heart was gonna explode. And I drink a lot of caffeine, and I still thought I was gonna die.
Did you ever have the Jack 3D back in the day?
I think this is like the next generation of that, because I can't remember what it was called. But it had a lot of caffeine in it. But I do remember, didn't they like ban that?
They banned Jack 3D. I don't know why they did. I don't remember what it was.
I just remember everybody talking about how awesome it was. Oh, yeah. And then they banned it. So I don't know.
When they got rid of that, I took this thing called, I think it was C4 maybe. That's probably still around.
Yeah.
Every time I took C4, I had to immediately go to the bathroom, like within seconds. It's like, where's the closest bathroom? Run!
I got to take this while I'm on the bathroom. Yeah. I've heard that from a lot of people too. Like it activates. I guess it's like coffee for some people. I don't know. But
activates the digestion.
I guess I gotta get you ready to go. Gotta flush your system out so that you don't have all that extra weight whenever you're trying to carry. Whenever you're trying to do some heavy squats, you might as well do it before so you don't do it during. So maybe it's your body's way.
What do you think about sucralose and different things? A lot of people say, like artificial sweeteners, you shouldn't be having a lot of it. You know, maybe within moderation. Some people are like, no artificial sweeteners.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's different. Yeah. All the research that I have seen and read about it is there is no evidence that it causes cancer. Any kind of study that in the past has shown that it caused cancer or that it had a likelihood of, increasing the chances of cancer, the results were all skewed, and the way that they interpreted the research wasn't accurate. And so, recent studies have shown that there's no issue, there's no risk of you developing, cancer or any other adverse health. I mean, so if you think about it, the things that are proven to give you cancer and diabetes and all that other stuff, it's straight up sugar, like the real life sugar. Mm-hmm. So, I would think about eliminating the real life sugar and then replacing it with a sugar substitute. I mean, there's, stevia is another, all natural sugar replacement. I don't know. There's other options. But I would focus on eliminating the real life sugar before I would focus on eliminating the fake stuff, for sure.
The donuts.
Yes. I want a sucralose covered donut.
The Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. So I got my kids donuts the other day, and I think they had like broken Fruity Pebbles on top of them and like chocolate drizzle.
Did you go to the bake shop? Is that where you were?
They were at Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts.
I know. They stepped it up. They did. They stepped it up.
Nice.
I did not indulge, but my kids did.
Now, if people want these things, like, we all like donuts.
Yeah.
When would be a good... I do like a donut every once in a while. When would be a good time to have it? Before your workout? Would like timing come into it around your workout?
So you would... I would say before your workout,
Yeah.
you know, because you get those fast absorbing carbs into your body quickly. But then also, you know, after you work out, you do want to replenish your glycogen stores in your muscles, and that needs carbs. So having, you know, a quick carb that you can get into your muscles, you know. So, I mean, if you have a hard workout, actually don't. Because if I say to anybody, have a donut after you work out, everybody's going to remember, oh, I can have a donut after I work out. Don't have a damn donut, okay? Just don't. Just
not every day.
No donuts, not every day.
You know, moderation.
Yeah, you didn't hear me say donuts. You did not hear me say donuts.
What about like holiday time frames? You know, Thanksgiving's coming up. You know, people are going to go ham on some food.
On some ham.
On some ham. What should they do? Get a hardcore
I'm all about it.
balls to the wall workout in before?
Yes, and so I usually do. So usually
Yeah.
Thursday mornings, Thanksgiving mornings, a lot of CrossFit boxes will have very cardio heavy workouts because they know that something's coming.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm all about it.
The mac and cheese.
Y'all are from the South, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so y'all know.
Oh, yeah.
We know how to do it down here.
Always mac and cheese.
Exactly.
It's good mac and cheese.
I mean everything.
Sweet potato casserole.
You know, yeah. It ain't about the turkey. It's about all the other stuff that comes with the turkey.
Turkey makes me sleepy.
Exactly. And it's not as, you know, unless it's covered in cranberry sauce and gravy, it really ain't that great. But all the other stuff that comes with it, it's dangerous. But I'm all about it. I always tell my clients, you know what, enjoy yourself on those days. You know, that's one day out of the year. And to think about gaining, you know, to gain 1 pound, you have to eat 3,500 calories. That's how many calories are in a pound.
Holy
so
cow.
That would be a pretty hefty
Yeah.
Thanksgiving dinner. And that's only 1 pound. So don't think that, okay, this one day that I'm going to really enjoy myself with my family is going to completely throw me off the rails. I'm going to gain 10 pounds. You're not. Enjoy yourself on that day. And then, you know, the next day, you can still eat leftovers. I don't care. It's just a matter of realizing that that is not going to derail you, you know. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself around the holidays, you know. We wear big sweaters because it's cold and because it hides all that other stuff that we're eating in the holidays. It's bulking season.
That's right.
So, you know, I don't know. I'm all about enjoying yourself. You know, don't ruin, you know, don't be miserable for the rest of your life just because you want to reach a certain weight. You know, you do want to try to make yourself feel as good as possible. And if that means that, you know, you have to cut back when you need to, but enjoy, you know. Nobody wants to have the person at Thanksgiving who is saying, okay, I'm going to have a salad on Thanksgiving. Really?
Yeah.
Bye.
Lame.
Yeah. Go sit at the kids' table. We don't want to talk to you. You're no fun. So enjoy yourself.
Well,
Absolutely.
Ben, if you want to get up to 200 pounds, maybe you just have Thanksgiving
every day.
And that's fine.
Right? That does sound pretty good right now.
But with the supplement thing, a lot of people like me.
Yeah.
Let me just do the mass gainers. But then, I tried it.
Yeah.
But you just don't eat.
Yeah, right? Because you're just miserable. Yeah.
So mass gainer, waste of money doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's just
It doesn't add to, it's not like you're adding calories, you're just replacing them with the mass gainer stuff. You're right. And then there's the other diet. Have y'all heard of the gallon of milk a day diet?
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. Which I can't
I've known
see.
people that have done it. And
Really?
Yeah,
Did it work?
Well, they gain a lot of body fat while they're doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Just because milk's like, you know, fatty.
It's got a lot of fat, but I mean, it's got protein in it, but you know, I've read a lot about people doing that to gain weight. I just can't see how that would feel good at all.
You know, milk doesn't really sit with me well these days anyway. You know,
I'm
I
not
get
a
the
big fan of
lactose-free milk.
Yeah.
You know, good to go.
oat milk, almond milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't tried oat milk yet.
That's good.
Yeah.
How do you milk a
all
oat?
One of those great questions.
Right. How do you milk an almond? So what was it? Oh, shoot, what was I going to say? The gallon of milk a day diet, and then there's another one that people do. I can't remember what it was. Sorry.
All those different fitness, again, fads that are out there. You know, do this, you'll get this. Do that, do that.
That's
you know,
another
it's
thing
not
that
sustainable,
confuses me.
though,
Yeah, it's
right?
like y'all know the answer. Like everybody knows the answer. If you ask anybody, how do you lose weight? A good diet and exercise.
Yeah.
But that's way too easy. Like
they
need something that is, you know, I need it to happen right now. And so if I just, you know, stop eating everything but bacon and butter, and you're telling me I'm gonna lose weight.
Yeah. What about those fat loss pills? You know, here's a thermogenic pill. You take 3 a day, you're gonna shred.
Yeah,
you know?
I've never tried those. My aunt told me that she tried them one time and she felt like her hair was on fire the whole time. It made me not want to try them.
Yeah.
But basically, from what I've read about them, is they're basically like Adderall almost. Like they have a lot of caffeine. They just get you all hyped up so that you're too jacked up to eat. I don't know.
Really?
I've never used them. Like Hydroxycut, I think was a super popular one.
Yeah, that one caused a lot of issues in people too.
Did it?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, see, I can't see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't see how that, in addition to the pre-workout and the caffeine that I drink, I feel like that would be a bad decision.
Yeah.
So, no, I've there's the fat burners, and then another popular thing with females and maybe men. I think I've seen men with it too. The waist trainer thing.
Oh,
like
you strap the belt.
You strap it around you, and it's supposed to make you sweat.
Oh yeah.
And then they take it off, and because they've sweat, it looks like they've lost weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not.
I've tried one of those belts before. Someone had it where you strap it to yourself, you turn it on.
Yeah.
It's like stimulating your whole midsection. That was crazy.
It's supposed to. Yeah. I'm working my muscles without working my muscles. That's not how it goes. So no, I'm not a big fan of those.
What about ladies going into pregnancy or even after pregnancy? Obviously, you got some experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
What should they think about going into pregnancy? Should they increase, their diet because now they're feeding 2?
Yeah.
And then after they have the baby, let's say they want to get down to a fat loss stage, or they want to have some shredded abs or something like that. What are considerations, thoughts about all that? So obviously you got all the experience.
Yeah, right. So I was just talking to someone who's pregnant, and I think, well, it all depends on morning sickness. I was sick the entire night. I don't know why I kept having kids, because I was sick every single day of my pregnancy. Like it was not fun. So I basically just ate whatever I could so that I wouldn't barf. And then a lot of people, that happens for women in their first trimester. So those first 12 weeks, I tell women, eat whatever you can that makes you feel okay, because those first 12 weeks are rough. My first 12 weeks, I remember I watched Price is Right in bed. This was for my first baby. I watched Price is Right in bed. I ate Velveeta shells and cheese and Captain Crunch.
Nice.
And I actually drank soy sauce. Those were the only things that I could do that would not make me want to throw up. And so the first 12 weeks, just kind of get through it. If you're feeling great, then by all means, don't increase your calories. For most of us, we don't necessarily need to increase our calories, because the modern American diet is already way too many calories. Okay. But if you're on the smaller side, you can eat a little bit more. But really, you're not eating for 2. You're eating for like 1 1/3. So only increase your calories by like 300 calories. Your baby is like that big at that point. You don't need to eat 3,000 calories. Yeah. Even though, it's not just your baby you're growing everything else in your body. You're getting ready for breastfeeding, and, your joints are soft and everything is happening, but you don't need a ton of extra calories for that. So, but then postpartum, if you're breastfeeding, you still want to continue to eat a little bit of not necessarily a surplus, but more than usual. And, you want to focus on fueling your body with things that will, your baby's going to eat it too. So, you got to eat the right stuff. But there's nothing wrong. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about exercise after you have a baby. And the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, that whole thing right now, they just came out with advice saying, women, you don't have to wait 6 weeks to start moving. I think that was the common advice is, let everybody else do the dishes for you. Let everybody else, sleep while the baby's sleeping. That don't ever happen. Yeah. And then, just rest for 6 weeks. You can get up and start walking around, within a couple of days of having a baby. You know what I mean? So you don't need to stay inactive or whatever. You want to get back to being active. You don't want to obviously start doing, you have to let your body heal, but that doesn't mean you have to just sit. Right. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, especially when you have your baby, you just want to kind of sit there and hold your baby and all that other stuff. But you do need to get back to being active. You need to help your body get back to normal
right.
again.
Yeah.
You know, and that takes time too. You know, you have to be patient. You're not going to go from having a baby to being completely normal in 3 weeks. That don't ever happen. You know, even in the magazine, that's crap.
Yeah.
It's not true at all. You know, I remember I was like 12 weeks postpartum, and I was in the grocery store, and somebody was like, "Oh, congratulations!" I didn't have my baby with me; it was just me, and I was like,
really?
"Oh, I had a baby 3
yeah.
months ago. Thank you."
Yeah.
So, you know, it takes time.
Yeah.
For sure. But
And then just get back on the track with the habits, getting your habits back on track, having that goal,
Yep.
adjusting from there.
yeah, and there's things you have to do differently after you have a baby. You know, I have a whole postpartum core training program because especially with that, you have to do it differently. You know, whenever you have a baby, think about it. Your belly is expanding,
Yeah.
and there is a line right here that, you know, as you expand, you got to make room for your baby, and so your abs actually separate. It's called diastasis. So a lot of women, after you have a baby, you can't go back to just doing straight up sit-ups and planks and all that other stuff. That actually makes that worse. And
wow.
so a lot of women who have the little belly pooch that just won't go away, it really is because they have diastasis. So, you know, the way you do core training after you have a baby is completely different than, you know, before you had a baby, because now you have to heal all that stuff to kind of suck it all back in.
Right.
So there's a totally different way, you know, and it's not just your core that you have to train again. It's, you know, your pelvic floor and all. I mean, y'all are boys, y'all don't need to talk about all this stuff, but there's other things in there besides just your abs that you need to heal after you have a baby.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah, totally
And
different.
You specialize in mothers, helping them to rebuild that the proper way.
Yeah.
You know,
So
you know, there might be a lot of people out there, mothers out there, that are like, you know, I've had a baby, I'll never be like I used to be. I'll never have six-pack abs, and you're saying that's not true.
it's not
You just have to
necessarily
train
true. You just have
properly
to
the
do it
right
the right
way.
way.
Yeah.
Because there is a way to make it worse, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I mean, if you're doing planks, you know, the science behind it is if you create a lot more pressure in your abdomen when you're doing a plank, there's a lot of you think about how tight your core is and how like you're not really sucking in when you're doing a right plank. You're like your entire core is like there's a lot of pressure in there to hold your body up, and that pressure, you know, you put all the pressure right here on this line that had already been separated, which means it's going to separate more, or it's never going to go back to the way it was.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different method once you've had a baby to try to get all that stuff back to normal. And it's possible. It really is. You know, you don't have to resign yourself to the rest of your life to, you know, this is just my belly after I've had a baby. Yes. I mean, I still have a bunch of extra skin and all that, you know, but as far as, you know, getting your core back to, it's totally possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if someone's had a baby like 10 years ago, they can come with you, they can meet you, and you can help rebuild it, because maybe they had that separation
And it never
keep
went
happening.
away. Yeah. So
And they got a little bit of, they want to be, you know, tighter.
yeah, it's never
You can-
too late
you
to
can program them to get tighter.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's never too late to bring all that stuff back together,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. Good to go.
Not all hope is
I
lost.
think that's super important too, because I feel like, you know, a lot of mothers, they may have like, you know, a little bit of depression after they have kids for a variety of reasons. You know, kids are crazy whenever you just start getting them, you know what I'm saying?
Whole new
but
world.
also the, like, you know, the psychological factor of your body changing,
Yeah.
you know, and you can help them.
It is. I mean, it's tough. You know, after you have a baby, it's hard to remember what it's like to be a woman. You know, it's a big process of, okay, I am literally just this feeding machine. I'm a mother, you know. I am only built to sustain life for other people, and then you kind of forget about yourself, and then you feel bad about yourself, and you know, it affects your relationships with your husband and all that other stuff. Because I mean, I'm sure, you know, after your wife had a child, you still thought of her as your wife. You still, you know. But a lot of times women, they're like, well, my husband doesn't even find me attractive anymore because, you know, I'm totally different. I'm not the same way I was when, you know, before I had the baby. But, you know, there is a way to get back. But, you know, like I said in the beginning, it's all about mindset. You have to realize, okay, I'm not just mom for the rest of my life. I have to remember that I'm also a woman, you know. I also want to feel good about myself. There's nothing wrong with being a mom, but also, you know, being smoking hot. Like there's nothing wrong with that. You can still focus on yourself, you know?
Absolutely.
So absolutely.
we have a lot of listeners that are mothers. You know what I'm saying? So
hi, moms.
Going through, that I think is super important.
Yeah.
Combining that with the habits they're creating, getting nutrition right, workouts right, special trainers like you that know how to work the different parts of a woman's body to help them repair appropriately. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yep. And then what about raising kids?
Yeah.
What are some what are your thoughts on, like, you got 4 boys?
You're on your own.
They're all over the place. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's, like we said in the beginning, when you have kids, like, the whole game changes. It's not just a matter of, I'll just hit up the gym whenever, Mm-hmm. It is, okay, I have to schedule this. You have to be a lot more strategic with your planning. If you're going to a gym, you got to make sure, like, do I need to be there during childcare hours? So it's a matter of having the desire enough that you can schedule it. Even if that means, okay, I got to get up a little bit earlier before I go to work because that's the only time I have to myself, mm-hmm. Or if I have to do it in my lunch hour. It's like we've said pretty much the entire time. It's about, like, how much is this worth it to me? Am I willing to, take time out of my lunch hour, or, is it okay if I go to the gym for an hour while my husband watches the babies? Or, can I work out at home while the baby takes a nap? Or, I have my kid in a little mother's morning out program. I can go work out then. It's just, you have to commit to the idea that this is something that I have to schedule, and I can't be like, oh, woe is me, like, oh my God, I've got kids, this is so hard. Yeah. It's hard for everybody. Like, whether you have kids or not, everybody has obligations that they have to work around, and complaining about your obligations or only focusing on your obligations and how impossible it feels is only going to make it feel more impossible. Mm-hmm. If you say to yourself, everything is figure outable, I can figure out how to make this work. Everybody, there are people who have more kids than me, who have more obligations than me, who are going to the gym. Mm-hmm. I just have to want it bad enough. And I also hate saying that, because I know as a mom, there is so much that we have to do. There are so many obligations. And to hear somebody say, oh, if you cared about it, you would do it. Yeah. I hate that too, y'all. Yeah. But at the same time, it is something that you need to prioritize. Because if you don't, then there are other things that are going to suck up all that time, And you also have to be, with 4 boys, I have to be kind of on my toes, because every day something is different. Every day I can plan it out as good as I want. Mm-hmm. Something is going to happen that's going to throw a wrench in the whole situation. And so you have to be willing to be a little bit more adaptable. And it has to, is it important enough to you that you will say, okay, well, I know I'm supposed to go do this, and I'm supposed to work out at the gym, but something happened, and so now I have to choose between the two. Like, do I want to go to happy hour, or do I want to go to the gym? It's just a matter of making it a priority enough that you are willing to, schedule it, and then also work your life around it, because it's always figure outable. You can always work out. Yeah. Always.
What about having the kids, get them active while they're young, Oh yeah. Get them clean food, like food mm-hmm. situation for kids.
So yes, and with kids, it is impossible to make their diet perfect all the time. You know what I mean? Like, when they're at school, they're going to see those chicken nuggets, and they're going to see the mac and cheese, and they're going to be like, wait a minute, I've been having grapes my entire life. What is that? So the way I do it, so that I make sure that I am eating a healthy diet, and that my kids are eating a healthy diet, but they'll also eat. You know what I mean? So if I put the stuff that I eat, and that's only the stuff that I put on their plate, they're not going to eat it. Mm-hmm. So I make sure that I've got that healthy stuff on their plate, but then I also make like mac and cheese for them, and I'll put that on their plate. And you just have to have the willpower not to also eat the mac and cheese, although I do have like a spoonful every now and then. Yeah, so
just that taste.
Just to make sure it's okay. You got to have the ratio, right?
Yeah.
So, you have to just, the things that you see of people, oh, well, this is what I do with my child, Or, my favorite is the ones who don't have kids yet, who are like, well, if I had kids, they'd be eating celery sticks and grapefruit every meal. And I'm going to breastfeed them till they're 4, So you just have to realize that real life is not like that, We're all doing whatever we can to make it work. And a lot of times what works is chicken nuggets and mac and cheese.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Real quick meal. You know what I'm saying?
Fixes everything.
Yep. Keep it in moderation as with everything else. You know what I'm saying? Good to go.
Yep.
So, all right. Good to go on the kids stuff. Let's talk about 2 more things or 3 more things real quick. Number 1 would be recovering from injuries. If someone sustains a serious injury like bicep tear. Do you have any recommendations for what they should be doing, not doing, things like that?
You definitely need to be patient with yourself. You have to do the annoying things that are not fun. If you go from, lifting really heavy and then now all of a sudden you're in physical therapy and you're, doing a curl with like a, 2-pound rubber band and it's boring. And it also kind of hurts because you're healing. You have to be okay with this is where I am right now. You can't just sit there and be pissed like I should be bench pressing 315 right now. You just have to you have to realize that your muscles are healing and it might actually feel okay for you to do a curl or something right now, but that might mess you up.
Right.
And so you have to listen to the professionals. You have to listen to what they're saying, even though it's totally lame. A lot of times when you get injured and the exercises that you have to do to get better, they're just boring.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
You just have to do them, though. And then you have to, I think a big part of people after they get injured is also they're nervous. They feel like their arm's never going to be stronger or as strong as it was before. But they're healed, but mentally they're probably not working it as hard as they used to,
right?
Which is why it's not growing back,
right?
Because mentally they're like, well, I don't want to tear my bicep again. You know what I mean? Because scar tissue is not as strong as regular tissue. So mentally you have to just kind of get to the point where you're confident enough to do the movements again, even the movements that hurt you in the first place. Just do them methodically. Remember what you did. Maybe you realize that you did something wrong to tear your bicep or, to throw your back out, and then just be more conscious of that movement and, get back in there. Don't let it derail you.
Yeah.
A lot of people get injuries and they're like, they get discouraged and they just don't go back to the gym.
What about nutrition considerations? Like someone tears their ACL, should they be in a calorie surplus to help feed that body as much as possible, or
not necessarily calorie surplus, but you probably want to eat more protein than usual, and more fat, because actually fat helps with hormones and tissues and stuff too. So maybe cut back on the carbs because you're not moving as much. You don't necessarily need those carbs to fuel you, but the protein will help rebuild the muscle and the tissue and all that other stuff. So you don't necessarily want to be in a surplus, because you don't want to be eating more calories than you're burning. But you do want to make sure that you're eating the right types of food to repair your body the right way. Yeah.
Good to go. All right, so we talked about pregnancy. We talked about recovering from injury. Let's talk about energy levels, because throughout the day, somebody may have a slump in their energy.
Yeah.
I know for me, lunchtime, about an hour after lunchtime, I have to be physically moving. Otherwise, I get a low energy state, So what can people do to combat those types of things?
I'm the exact same way.
Really? Yeah.
So I usually between 2 and 4 is when I am dead. Because I work from home, I do a lot of stuff on my computer. And if I'm working between 2 and 4, I can guarantee you I'm going to fall asleep with that laptop on my lap because I'm just sitting there and I crash. And you're right. The only way to fix it is to be moving. But also, I'm a big fan of really quick naps. Don't do anything longer than 30 minutes because then you're going to get into that state where you're super groggy when you wake up. But a quick 20-minute nap, even if you don't really fall asleep, you just kind of close your eyes for a few minutes, it really helps. It resets everything. Yeah. So, usually if I get home, my kids get off the bus at like 2:45, and so I know like I can close my eyes from 2:15 to 2:35, and then I'll feel better for the rest of the day. Yeah. So I mean, I'm a big fan of cat naps.
What about 8-minute nap?
8-minute nap?
8 minutes.
Like 8-minute abs? That kind of thing. I've never heard of an 8-minute nap, but I mean, I'll take whatever nap I can get at this point, you know. If I
just don't go into that groggy stage.
Don't turn it into a 2-hour nap, because those are the ones where it's like you're starting all over again, and it's hard to wake up.
And you can't go to bed on time.
Exactly.
And your whole sleep cycle's messed up.
Yeah, so those little cat naps are good for just kind of recharging you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you don't have the option of a nap? Chug a Monster? Good to go.
Chug a Monster and do 20 burpees. It'll wake you up.
Good to go.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, if you don't have a choice, I don't know. When I had a desk job, and, you know, we would hit that slump. I just remember just sitting at my desk, like, trying to keep my eyes open. Yeah. Just, those were the least productive hours of my day.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Just muscle through it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Is there anything you can do nutritionally to kind of try to eliminate a slump?
So the hydration is a big part. Like, if you are more hydrated, you're going to feel like you can maintain those energy levels. But if you're dehydrated, you know, after your nap or after your lunch, you are just kind of, you're going to crash, you know? So if you can stay hydrated, it'll prevent the crash from being as intense. I can't guarantee that, you know. Yeah. I don't know if it's just nature or biology, but it seems like most of us kind of crash like right in the middle of the day. Yeah. And so just drinking a ton of water, and don't eat something super heavy. I don't know. I feel like if you ate pasta, or something really greasy, maybe you would want to take a nap, or it would just wear you out. You know, I'm a big fan of salads. Everybody always laughs at me, but like, I love salad.
What's your favorite salad?
Oh God, anything. So my favorite thing to do is to prep a big salad for the week is you have your lettuce, and you have, you put that in a separate container, and then you chop up a bunch of crunchier veggies so that you can keep it all week and they don't get all soggy and gross. So like bell peppers and, you know, red peppers. I put corn, I put chickpeas, I put apples, I put things like sunflower seeds. What else? Not really tomatoes or cucumbers, because those kind of get gross. But you mix all that together, and you just keep that in a separate container in the fridge, and then every day for the rest of the week you have a salad that you keep your lettuce separate so it doesn't get soggy, and then you just put all the toppings that you had prepared on top of it, and you're good to go. You have a salad.
Any chicken or beef or anything you're throwing on there?
To make it easy as possible, I get like a rotisserie chicken from Publix or Harris Teeter or wherever, and you just shred all that chicken off, and then you put that in another container, and then you can top it with chicken.
What about dressings?
Dressings are, I usually use like a lighter dressing, like a balsamic or something that's not so heavy, like a ranch dressing or a honey mustard or Thousand Island or blue cheese or something like that. That's going to have a lot more calories, and, you know, it might taste better, but it kind of negates the calorie benefits of eating a big healthy salad. So I would say something lighter. Yeah. What
about like sprinkling like olive oil on there, avocado oil, if people like that?
Some people do that. It doesn't usually give me enough flavor. So I like the balsamic because it's got a little bit of that kick to it.
Good to go.
Yeah.
All right. Where can people find you? Where can they reach you at? What do you offer? I know we've talked a little bit about that, but, you know, someone's like, they're listening to you. Maybe it's a mom out there. They're like, you know, I want to fix my core, you know, or it's somebody that's like, I want to put on X amount of muscle, you know, I want to reach out to you. How do they do that?
Yeah, so you can go to heatherblackfitness.com. I have a few meal plans on there. I can do a custom meal plan, a nutrition plan. It's got a big nutrition guide. I've got my postpartum core recovery program on there. I've got, you know, my Six Pack by Heather Black program. Yeah, and then I've got like a 30 days of dumbbells program. And so I'm constantly adding, you know, workout programs that people can do on their own. That's where you can sign up for my online training if you want that constant accountability and motivation. If you need more attention throughout the day to kind of keep you on track.
So those programs you just talked about, like your dumbbell program, they can go on your website, purchase that.
Yep. So that's just like a downloadable PDF with a ton of information and all the workouts and all the demos of all the workouts and stuff.
Yeah.
But then the online training is more like, a specific workout program, and I'm specifically contacting you several times a day to make sure that, all the components of getting you on track, that you're staying in that, if you're staying focused, and I'm kind of helping you stay motivated and accountable. So that's different. That's like a one-on-one individual kind of thing. But then if you want just some fun workouts to do, just go to Instagram and search for Heather Black Fit. That's where I post a ton of just, high intensity, fun little workouts that'll take you 30 minutes or less. There's a lot with dumbbells, there's barbells, there's body weight workouts, there's a lot of core workouts. So yeah, those are the two places.
You got some intense core workouts on your Instagram.
For real. Yeah. I mean, they're intense for real. I mean, I definitely am like, there are a lot of outtakes of me doing these videos where I'm just like, oh, I'm dying. So they're killer, but they're a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They're effective, I promise. So check them out for sure.
All right. And then who's your favorite tattoo artist in the area? You got your favorite tattoo artist?
So, actually, I don't know if this is on video, but Blue Gorilla Tattoo, they've been voted best in Charleston for the past however long we've been allowed to tattoo. Tim, the owner, he does all my work. I had a leg piece that he just did.
Nice.
And he actually has Ultra Mag, which is his like surf brand too. So he's awesome. He's very, very talented, and he's done most of my stuff.
Yeah.
So
good to go.
Highly recommended.
Awesome.
They have a lot of other really good artists there too. So check them out. Blue Gorilla.
Cool. And then, what other hobbies are you into outside of the fitness and raising 4 boys and the hockey?
Lord.
And
I ain't got no time for no hobbies.
I was about to say, whenever you get time just for you, what do you like doing?
If I get any time to myself, it most of the time goes to me taking naps.
I was about to say.
Yeah, I just try to catch up on sleep. Yeah, I'm catching up on sleep. God, I really don't have. That's one thing that worries me is when my kids are out of the house. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I'll just work out all the time. Like, I guess I'm going to have to take up crochet or painting. I don't know. I don't really have any other hobbies or.
You have to take Puck on some walks and stuff.
Yeah, Puck and I chill.
Puck on some hikes.
Yeah, I'll have to do something.
Yeah.
I'm a loser.
I
work out and I raise kids. That's
being
it.
Being a mom's tough. Being a mom's tough. So
they're a lot of fun though. They're lots of fun. I live vicariously through their hobbies, basically.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any closing thoughts or considerations for our listeners?
Oh man, the biggest part of fitness and basically any area of your life that you want to improve, you have to start with being in the right mindset and believing that you can. The biggest thing that limits people is when they jump into something or when they say they want to do something, in the back of their head, they're saying to themselves, but it's not going to work. Or I've tried this before and it didn't work, or, I'm not built like her. I can't do it. She's got more time, or, I've got all these other obligations. You have to kind of erase all of that and realize that you can do it. Say it to yourself 1,000,000 times a day. I am a fit person. I do what fit people do. And then all of a sudden your body, and if you say that enough to yourself, you're going to start doing things that fit people do. You're going to start considering yourself a fit person. So would a fit person, would they go to Wendy's and get a burger, or would they eat a salad? Or, would a fit person go to happy hour, or would they go to the gym? Would a fit person stay up till midnight watching Netflix, or would they get their sleep? So the way you talk to yourself is huge. That's the biggest first step. And that's the biggest barrier to most people being able to reach their goals, is the way that they talk to themselves. Yeah. So yes, that's what I'm going to leave you with. Stop talking shit about yourself. That's it.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Listener, go out there, dominate the world. You are a fit person.
You are a fit person. You do what fit people do.
And you might need a coach. And that coach might be Heather. So reach out to her if you have any questions or want to get on board with her training programs.
Yeah, just say hi.
Good to go.
Yeah.
Well, listeners, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for your support. Give us some feedback. Leave us some questions in the comments below if you have any. Thanks again to Linden Construction, Brandon and Sarah Linden, for letting us borrow their conference room today to meet with Heather. Heather, thank you again for taking your time out of your day, your busy day, to come here and chit chat with us for a little bit.
Happy to do it.
And, everybody have a good day. And until next time, out.